Welcome to the Transform Your Wedding podcast, a how-to guide for taking your wedding to a whole new level. Here's your host, Marie Kubin from Rent My Wedding.
Hey everyone, today we're talking about how to plan your wedding during COVID, along with some other helpful tips and advice. Hi Bill, well thank you so much for joining me.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. This is going to be exciting. I'm actually in my car riding along on the way up from the Redland, which is rapidly becoming a worldwide wedding destination market with so many venues. And every time I come down here, there's a new one. So we just visited Spur of the Moment Ranch, which I think it's like my fifth visit there, but we become very involved in the wedding scene down here. So that's what I'm doing now. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad we could catch you in between appointments. I know you're a busy guy, so thanks for taking the time out to be here. So we're talking all about COVID weddings and how couples can navigate that whole process. So of course, there's the decision whether you should have a small wedding now and a bigger wedding later. Do you try to just have the regular wedding now despite everything? So what do you think couples should do when they start just thinking about that big decision?
Well, they really need to take a hard look at their guest list. They need to figure out too what their budget is, because with many clients having restricted budgets due to COVID, sometimes it's better just to do a smaller wedding and do it on a weeknight. Do it on a night when venues are not booked, and keep the number to 20, 30, 40 people, because venues like myself at Villa Woodbine or those Redland venues, they would love to have weeknight events. It makes a lot of sense. They're willing to rent the venue for less money. That's number one. And number two, all of your vendors would love to be able to work on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, for example, or even a Monday night. So smaller weddings make a lot of sense for couples in my mind. And there's another factor that I don't know if it's my original idea or not, but because we've all become used to Zoom meetings like this that we're doing, people that can't take time off to go in the middle of the week, they still can connect with their offices or with their businesses via Zoom. So they might come down to Miami and stay at the Ritz or the Four Seasons or the Marriott or wherever and go to a wedding on a Wednesday night, but during the day they can work. Same way the next day if they have to. So I don't think enough attention has been given to that people, just because it's that common knowledge that everybody's off on the weekends. Well, that's true for many people, unless you're like me when I have to work weekends. But just taking advantage of weeknights, I think, would be a great idea. Keep it small. Then, for those people that have not been able to attend, then maybe a year or two down the road, since you're already married, and maybe you even have a baby on the way, who knows? Then you can have what I think is the perfect wedding reception, which is a party. I love the idea of just a party, casual seating. I hate it when people if you go to a wedding and you have to sit with somebody you hardly know, because you're at table 2 and you're in seat number 8, and you have to sit next to somebody that the couple thinks you might love to be sitting next to, when quite frankly you'd rather get up, go to a food station, go to the bar, get away, move around, go on the dance floor and have a party. Some of the best weddings I've ever catered have been those where it's more of a party. Yes, there's a ceremony, but the rest of it's a party. And that's what makes, I think so many times people forget that they want to, the main event is to delight your guests, not impress your guests. Okay. And the way most people are delighted is by having plenty of food, plenty of liquor, good music, and more of a casual, carefree atmosphere as opposed to one that's strictly informal. And okay, now everybody get up. It's time to cut the cake, or sit back down. We're going to do the toast and all of those formalities. There's nothing wrong with them, but people really just want to have fun. And that's what we try to do in my company, is to steer people towards having fun. We look at our role in a wedding as being the guide or the mentor. And who is the hero in our story? The hero is our client, our customer. And so we do whatever we have to do to make that client, that hero, look good. And we hopefully will help them avoid the pitfalls, because danger lurks around every corner. There are bad vendors out there that they certainly don't want to get involved in. I've even worked with I've worked with couples where the bride hired a planner, and the planner was so bad that she had to hire another planner to oversee the work of the first planner. So those are things that I feel in my company and my team is we're there to help and advise. And if we're not necessarily the right fit for them, then my role is to help them find someone, a vendor, a planner, a venue that's a good fit for them. And if we end up making some money with the catering or whatever, that's great. But at my stage of life, I'm 75 years old, so I'm at a stage where I just simply want to be a blessing to others and help them plan those weddings that are memorable. I have so many stories of weddings where, if you'd like to hear a couple stories, I can tell you. I have a lot of wedding stories. I'll give you one that I think is my most memorable. It was a wedding at Vizcaya. The year was 1992. I remember it like it was yesterday. The bride's name was Fatima Jabai, and it was a Sunday wedding. And the day of the wedding, she was having her hair done at a downtown downtown hairdressing style shop in One Biscayne Tower. It used to be called Downtown Underground. I don't even know. Probably 3, 4 in the afternoon. She came out with her hair perfectly coiffed and looking great. And when she went to hop into her vehicle, she noticed one thing was missing. It was her wedding dress.
Oh, no.
Someone had stolen her wedding dress from the car.
Oh my gosh.
And fortunately, she had the wherewithal back then to hire a wedding planner, which in those days, wedding planners were not that common. And her wedding planner had the home phone number of a bridal salon owner on Coral Way. And the planner called there, got the bride in. She was a perfect, I don't know, size 3, size 5, whatever. Got her fitted with a brand new dress. In the meantime, we're all over at Vizcaya. The bride wasn't there, and the guests were starting to arrive. So we did what any good caterer would do. We opened the bar. We started passing hors d'oeuvres, and by the time the bride arrived, everybody was feeling very spirited. The ceremony took place, and then everyone sat down for dinner, and it went off without a hitch with the new wedding dress.
Wow.
And the next morning, the bride's brother came over to my villa, which is Villa Woodbine. It's right down the street from Vizcaya, because you know the deals. They're always looking for something. Did you find a shoe, or did you find a camera, or did you find this, or did you find that, credit card? And so he came by looking for one of those lost items, and I casually asked him, "Did you ever find out who stole your sister's wedding dress?" And he said, "Yes, we did. It was the groom's former girlfriend."
No. Oh my
That,
gosh.
that's a true story. That is
Wow.
absolutely true story. It was
That is unimaginable.
one of my best ones. And that's why it's so important to have good people, because inevitably, there's no such thing as perfection in a wedding. Something will go wrong. On
That's
my son's wedding, the sound system didn't work, and the limo broke down. Okay, carrying the older people.
oh,
So stuff happens, and it's not what happens to you, but it's what you do when it happens to you, and that's the difference between a pro and an amateur. So I've seen wedding cakes collapse. I'll never forget it. This baker had made this beautiful cake. I'd used her before for smaller weddings, but she never made a cake for 200 people.
oh boy.
So we are setting up for the wedding, and all of a sudden one of my servers came over and he said, "Bill, you're not going to believe this, but the wedding cake is beginning to collapse.
Oh my
Seems
God.
that the baker, the cake stylist, had forgotten to put the little pillars inside the cake."
Oh,
So, and I still remember her name. I'm not going to repeat it. She's probably not in business anymore, but I remember shouting to her across the room, "Hey, your cake's falling down. We need to get it fixed." And she says, "I don't know what to do."
oh,
So I sent one of my team members over to Publix. We bought a little bit of pound cake. We got some frosting mix, and we also acquired some flowers. And we patched up the cake. We turned the repair side back away from the bride and groom when they cut the cake, and it went off without a hitch. Although I think the bride did discover it afterwards when she saw her videos and pictures. So those are just some of the things that can go go wrong in a wedding, and being professional and being in a position to help out, that's what we do. So,
wow. Yeah, I knew you would have some incredible stories, but I never imagined anything like that. Wow.
yeah,
So,
I've had one bride who was going to order the wedding cake but forgot to order it, and it was in the afternoon on a Saturday. It was about 3 o'clock, and I spoke to somebody. It was one of the relatives. I said, "Where's the cake?" "Oh no, we forgot to order it." So there's a wonderful cake person in town. You probably know her, Anna Paz.
oh,
And I called Anna, and she put together a cake, and it came over, and it was absolutely beautiful. So
wow. Yeah, it's amazing how it's like what sets you apart is being able to troubleshoot and have a backup plan no matter what happens. So you can save the wedding day and it goes on without a hitch despite
uh,
all those little
I
things.
know it. I know it. So
So, Bill, tell us a little bit more about your company.
I would be happy to. Currently I have a number of companies. My catering company is a firm I started in 1980, and this company has catered probably tens of thousands of weddings and corporate events. I've catered for 4 U.S. presidents, the Pope, many celebrities, Bill Gates, the list goes on and on and on, Serena Williams. It's been an Usher, Michael Jordan. It's been a great ride. And about a year and a half ago, I acquired another company that was more budget friendly. The name of the company was called Catering by Lovables. We bought that and then rebranded it as Lovables Catering Kitchen to be more in time and in sync with today's couples and with today's clients. So they, under that brand, we offer a lower price point for those couples that are not within our range, within our budget. So that's one company. That's the catering company. Then I built a venue sourcing website called Bill Hansen Miami Venues, where couples and others can go and search throughout South Florida for that perfect venue that meets their needs. It has search criteria, so you can put in the number of guests, you can put in your budget, you can put in what part of South Florida you're interested in, because South Florida stretches all the way from the Palm beaches to down to the Florida Keys. Mm-hmm. And also the style, whether you're looking at modern or rustic or historic or museum or, industrial is very popular. And so that's my other company. One other company I have is that I'm just launching. It's called BillHansen.com. And that is a website where I will help complimentary at no charge couples who are planning their wedding and they just need some help. They need some advice. And that's for free. So I'll help them determine if they know what they want, then I can help them find what they want. If they don't know what they want, I'm astute enough to know the right questions to ask to help them determine what it is they want, and then lead them in a direction that hopefully will help them and will lead them to a successful wedding. And maybe if I'm lucky, I might even get to cater for them. So, wow. Or recommend you for the rentals.
There we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Mm-hmm. It sounds like you have so many amazing resources for couples, from the high-end luxury catering to budget-minded catering, as well as these great options like the venue tool and your own new website. So we're definitely going to put all of these links on our webpage, so anyone who's interested can check it out there and get links directly to all of Bill's companies.
That's great.
Bill, thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, thank you, Marie. God bless you and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed all of these great tips from Bill Hansen. And don't forget, you can catch all of our podcast episodes over at transformyourwedding.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Rent My Wedding, your one-stop shop for event rentals. Order online and rentals are delivered right to your door. Shipping is free both ways nationwide. Rent lighting, backdrops, photo booths, and more. With the most 5-star reviews in the industry, Rent My Wedding makes rentals easy and affordable. Book your rentals today at www.rentmywedding.com.